My friends, today I invite you to look beyond the glitter of gold and the weight of coins. For money, in its truest sense, is not a mere pile of paper or metal. It is energy, an obedient servant that responds to the spiritual laws governing our lives. Those who understand these laws rise above limitation, while those who ignore them forever chase wealth like a shadow that slips through their grasp. My friends, understand this truth. No man or woman ever drew money into their life by accident. Wealth is not born of chance, nor of luck, nor of wandering desires. It is born of purpose. The individual who drifts aimlessly, wishing today for one thing and tomorrow for another, scatters his energy like seed thrown upon barren soil. Nothing grows, nothing multiplies. But the one who fixes his heart and mind upon a definite purpose, so clear, so exact, so unwavering, that man, that woman, begins to command the unseen forces of life. Purpose is the starting point of all achievement. Money is intelligent in its own way. It gravitates toward order, toward clarity, toward direction. When you know what you want, and more importantly, why you want it, your mind ceases to be a wandering breeze and becomes a magnet of steel. Every thought, every decision, every action begins to align itself with that purpose. Opportunities that were once invisible now stand before you. People you never dreamed of meeting appear at the right moment. Resources you could not imagine suddenly flow toward you. But hear me clearly, a purpose half formed will never call forth wealth. A vague wish will not stir the law into action. To say, I want to be rich, is not enough, for richness has no meaning without direction. But to say, I will create this business, I will serve these people, I will build this vision, and I will do it by this time, that is definite. That is a command to life itself. A definite purpose transforms a human being into a force of nature. It burns away doubt. It silences hesitation. It gathers scattered energy and drives it into concentrated power. The man with purpose walks differently, speaks differently, acts differently. His eyes shine with conviction, his words carry authority, and his presence demands attention. People sense it. They trust it. They follow it. And money, my friends, always follows such a person. Remember this, drifting leads only to poverty. Poverty of money, poverty of spirit, poverty of influence. But definiteness of purpose leads to riches, riches of the mind, riches of the soul, and yes, riches in the form of money, for money is merely a tool, a reward, a shadow of that purpose made manifest. Faith is the invisible hand that moves mountains, and belief is the foundation upon which every fortune is built. No man can attract money if, in the secret chambers of his mind, he doubts his worthiness to possess it. Money responds not to hesitation, not to fear, but to conviction. When you see yourself as small, as unworthy, as limited, you erect a wall so high that no opportunity can climb over it. You may work hard, you may labor endlessly, but wealth will not stay with you, because in your own heart you have declared yourself unfit to hold it. But when you dare to believe, when you summon faith so complete, so unshakable, that not even a storm of failure can move it, you tap into a law higher than circumstance. Faith is the force that whispers, "It shall be done," even when there is no evidence, even when the bank account is empty, even when the world mocks your vision. And in time, life bends to that faith. People call it luck, they call it fortune, but it is no such thing. It is the law at work. Belief is the spark that ignites action. A person who doubts sits still, hesitates, delays, and opportunities pass him by. But the one who believes acts with courage. He steps forward where others retreat. He speaks with confidence where others remain silent. He invests when others hold back. And because action always draws results, belief becomes the bridge from the invisible idea to the visible wealth. Look around at every fortune ever built, every empire ever raised, every invention that has changed the world. Behind each one stood a man or woman who first believed when no one else would. They saw abundance where others saw scarcity. They saw possibility where others saw failure. And because they believed, they acted. Because they acted, they persisted. And because they persisted, money, influence, and opportunity flowed to them in abundance. Hear me well, faith is not me, hope waits. Faith acts, hope wishes. Faith knows, To live by faith is to walk as if the riches you desire are already in your possession, to move as if the goal is already accomplished. And when you live in this state of conviction, you cannot help but attract the very things your heart demands. For money, like all forms of abundance, must obey the mind that believes without question. Money is never chased, it is attracted, and it is attracted by service, by the measure of value you pour into the lives of others. Too many people make the mistake of crying out for more pay, more profit, more wealth, while giving as little as they can in return. They labor with their eyes fixed on the reward instead of the work, and they wonder why money slips through their grasp. But the law is simply money flows only in proportion to the value rendered. The man who offers little cannot expect much. The woman who seeks to take without giving will always be in want. Yet the one who gives more than he is paid for, who serves beyond the call of duty, who pours into his work with honesty, creativity, and devotion, that one will find that compensation comes to him from directions he never imagined. Life will not leave such a soul unrewarded. Think of the greatest fortunes in history. They were not built by selfish takers, but by those who multiplied value on a massive scale. Men and women who saw a need and filled it, who found a problem and solved it, who looked not first to their own pockets, but to the service they could render. The law works unfailingly. He who improves the lives of many cannot remain poor. Understand this truth when you make yourself indispensable, when you become the person others can trust, the one who delivers beyond expectation. You command wealth without needing to demand it. Employers seek you, customers remember you, partners respect you, and money, like a loyal servant, follows close behind. But service must be sincere. It cannot be a trick, a mere strategy to squeeze profit from another. People feel the weight of your intention. If your heart is bent only on taking, your mask will soon fall away, and money will vanish with it. True value comes from a genuine desire to lift others higher, to give them more than they expected, to make their lives better because you touched them. When you embrace this law, work is no longer drudgery. It becomes a channel through which abundance flows back to you. Every task, no matter how small, becomes a seed planted. Every act of integrity becomes an investment. Every moment of service carries within it the promise of multiplied returns. So ask not, "What can I take?" but instead, "What greater value can I give?" For the one who outgives, outserves, and outlasts all others will never want for wealth. Money is simply the echo of your contribution, the shadow that follows the light of your service. And the more brightly you shine, the greater the riches that will seek you out. Persistence is the proving ground of all greatness, the test that separates the dreamer from the achiever, the weak from the strong, the pretender from the master. Every vision worth pursuing will be met with resistance. Every desire for wealth, freedom, and success will be challenged by obstacles, setbacks, and failures. This is not punishment, it is the law at work. Life demands proof that you truly want what you claim to desire. It asks, will you endure? Will you press forward when the way is hard? Or will you abandon your purpose at the first sign of difficulty? Most people quit too soon. They plant a seed today and expect a harvest tomorrow. When the rains delay, when the soil resists, when the first storm washes away their efforts, they throw down their tools in frustration and walk away. And in that moment, they forfeit the riches that might have been theirs. But the one who persists, the one who refuses to bow to temporary defeat, discovers that failure is never final. Failure is only the schoolmaster, sharpening skill, strengthening character, and clearing the way for victory. Persistence builds power. With every trial endured, the will grows stronger, the vision grows clearer, and the spirit becomes unbreakable. A man or woman who persists becomes unstoppable because the world cannot resist one who refuses to stop moving forward. Opportunities open to such a person simply because they prove themselves worthy to receive them. Fortune, it seems, favors those who will not quit. Consider this: the wealthiest individuals, the builders of empires, the inventors who reshaped society, were not always the most talented, the most educated, or even the most gifted. Many were ordinary men and women who held fast when others surrendered. They failed often more times than they succeeded, but each time they rose again, adjusting, learning, pressing onward, and in the end, the world bowed to their persistence. Money, opportunity, and influence flowed toward them because they demonstrated the one quality life cannot resist: endurance. Persistence is not blind stubbornness. It is intelligent determination. It is the refusal to quit combined with the wisdom to adapt, to try again with a better plan, to see every defeat as a lesson rather than a death sentence. It is saying, I will reach my goal, no matter how many times I stumble, no matter how many doors close in my face, no matter how long the road. And those who lack persistence will always be poor, not because money is unfair, but because they abandon the path before the harvest arrives. Those who persist, who lock their minds upon the goal and refuse to turn aside, will find that money eventually bends to their will. For wealth is not given to the fleeting spirit. It is reserved for the steadfast heart that never quits. Gratitude is the master key that unlocks the vault of abundance, and harmony is the atmosphere in which wealth multiplies. Too many people live in bitterness, always measuring what they lack, always resenting what others possess, always complaining that fortune has passed them by. They poison their own soil with envy and wonder why nothing grows. But the person who gives thanks, even for the smallest blessings, even for the simplest opportunities, aligns himself with the rhythm of abundance. Gratitude transforms scarcity into plenty because it opens the eyes to what is already within reach and tunes the heart to receive more. When you are grateful, you rise above fear. You cease to grasp and clutch at life as though it owes you something, and instead, you live in expectancy, knowing that more is on the way. This attitude of thankfulness attracts people, attracts opportunity, attracts money itself, for all of life responds more readily to the spirit that appreciates than to the one that despises. Gratitude turns every relationship into a source of growth, every setback into a lesson, every obstacle into an instrument for your advancement. And gratitude alone is not enough. It must walk hand in hand with harmony. For money flees from strife, quarrels, and division. It withers in the presence of hatred and conflict. But it flourishes where peace, respect, and cooperation reign. When you live in harmony with others, when you treat them with fairness, when you seek to lift them, instead of pulling them down, you create an environment in which wealth feels welcome. People want to work with you, to support you, to invest in you, and in time, this goodwill compounds into financial abundance. Think of the man who is skilled yet arrogant, who amasses wealth but spreads discord. His fortune may come quickly, but it slips away just as fast, for harmony does not abide with him. Now consider the person who builds trust, who fosters unity, who spreads gratitude like sunlight. Such a person may build slowly, but their riches endure because they are built upon foundations the storms of life cannot shake. Gratitude and harmony are not soft virtues, they are forces as real as gravity. They draw prosperity in unseen ways, creating channels through which opportunity and wealth flow naturally. To live in gratitude is to stand in continuous prayer, declaring to the universe that you are ready for more, because you have honored what you already possess. To live in harmony is to remove resistance from your path, allowing money to flow freely into your hands without friction, without fear, without loss. So give thanks in every moment. Be at peace with others. Seek unity instead of conflict, appreciation instead of complaint, generosity instead of envy. For money, like all good things, is drawn to the spirit that radiates gratitude and walks in harmony with life. Wealth is not a prize to be chased, but a partner that walks beside the soul that lives in this higher state. So, my friends, understand this: money does not lead, it follows. It follows the strength of your purpose, the power of your faith, the value of your service, the endurance of your persistence, and the harmony of your gratitude. Master these laws, and wealth will become the natural result of your spiritual alignment. Money is not the master, it is the servant. And when you live by these laws, it cannot help but obey.